Hey, what's going on? So today's video is going to be a chat about Apple accessibility with YouTuber Christy Veers. And if you guys don't know Christy, one of her first videos actually got quite a lot of views because it was a video showing how she uses an iPhone as a blind person.
Normally you would use the regular keyboard here, but the iPhone also has this other keyboard where when you turn it, now I can braille and use a braille keyboard. So
So like I said, it's going to be a chat about accessibility with a little disclaimer. Yeah, I forgot to hit record in the Zoom session. So great job, me. But the audio survived. The audio is just, it's fine. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys. Oh, and disclaimer number 2. If you happen to hear kind of an awkward sound, no, neither me or Christy have a pet rattlesnake. That's the sound of Christy's refreshable braille display. And yeah, if you didn't know that before, that's the sound that they make. So yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to delay this any further. Enjoy the chat with me and Christy talking about Apple accessibility. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to, actually this is another interview video and I have a guest with me. I have Christy Veers. If you don't know who she is, I will let her introduce herself in a little bit. But we are here to talk about Apple accessibility and maybe even a little bit of the Apple event that recently happened. So Christy, let's have you introduce yourself to the audience so they can know who you are.
hi, I'm Christy Veers. I have a tech YouTube channel. It's just Christy Veers, and I enjoy learning about different tech and how it works and apps and any accessibility features, and yeah.
Yeah, so the big reason why I wanted to talk to Christy, why I wanted to have her on here, is because, well, I mean, if you probably noticed, I really like my Apple products and I like the accessibility in them. And Christy's channel, she definitely does a lot of videos talking about not just the iPhone, but different Apple products as well, like the iPad, the HomePod, etc. And her video, one of her first videos, where she shows how Braille screen input is done on the iPhone. If a lot of you guys don't know, Braille screen input is a way to uh, basically type in Braille using the touch screen. But I didn't really know too much about it. Never even tried it myself until I started watching Christy's video. And I actually want to start with that. So, what was the story behind that actually? What got you to start your channel and why that video in the first place?
Well, I was talking with one of my good friends that lives a couple streets away from me, and we were just having conversation, and she had asked me, "So, Christy, if I were to send you a link to something, are you able to open it and like interact with it?" And I said, "Yes, anything." The screen reader is on and it's built into the phone so that when you're in Safari or someone sends you a text or a link or anything, you just interact with it. It talks and then you just use your touch screen and you double tap, or you can use 3 fingers to scroll or whatever the gestures are that you want to use. And I thought about it, and I've been knowing my friend for a very long time. And I just think a lot of people don't really know that much about accessibility and how it works on iPhones or any other Android or any, So I thought, what if I were to just do a simple video and just kind of demonstrate a little bit of how I can go on Safari and then use Braille screen input and open Twitter, and things like that, just so people can have a general feel of how it works with VoiceOver. And I just kind of was like, "Can we do that?" I asked my boyfriend, and so that's how that first. And I didn't expect the response that I got, especially on Twitter when I first posted it. Then my boyfriend decided, he just kind of came up with the idea. He was like, "Why don't you just launch a YouTube channel and we can put this video and like you can maybe explain more in depth with Braille screen input how it works and see what else you can think of accessibility type stuff and explain it." And I was like, that's such a good idea. So that's just kind of how that happened.
But it's true though. I mean, even to this day, a lot of people just are wondering, even posting in the in comments, like if someone brings up that they're blind, it's like, how does this blind person, like, they might see them with an Apple Watch or with a phone, and they wonder, how do blind people use technology? And it's like, well, it's a little sad that we still have to be educating people, but at the same time, it's always an opportunity to keep showing people that, hey, there's assistive technology, there's accessibility features that do help us in using our tech. But then again, I mean, who knows what technology we'll see in the next 5 or even 10 years? So
Absolutely.
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, because look how far it's already come.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, not even 2 years ago, we weren't even thinking of using lidar on our phones to detect how far people, were away from us. So
Yeah, absolutely.
now, what is your favorite Apple product out of all of them? Do you have one or a couple of them?
Yeah, I would have to zero in on a couple because it's really hard to just pick between the two. I really love the Apple Watch and my iPhone, probably the most.
Hmm. And for what reasons?
Well, the Apple Watch, it helps in a lot of different ways, like especially like just reminding you like get up for a minute of every hour and like to be a little more active, just maybe more exercise, that kind of thing. And it's nice to have text messages and emails or anything right there. So if your phone happens not to be right with you at the time, you can just, answer a text or a phone call even or something like that. So that's why I really like using the Apple Watch. There's a lot of things you can keep track of with it. So, in the phone, apps like Seeing AI are very helpful on a daily basis. Like you want to find out a product, what something is, a box of food or a can or something, and or read a document or something or any thing like that. In the iPhone, obviously, it's your everything with being able to research things, go on Safari, text calls, all that kind of stuff, stay in touch with people, being able to read books, right from your phone, that kind of thing, games, all that stuff. So it's that's why I think and it's like everything comes from your phone. Like if you have home pods or like the home kit set up, you can use your phone for a lot of that stuff. So it's I don't know. I guess that's why it's one of my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I always saw the Apple Watch as like an extension of the iPhone anyway. Like, if your phone is charging or you're away from your phone, you can always check your texts or things like that. The iPhone, I tend to call it the Swiss Army knife because it tends to do quite a few things, and
Hmm.
even Seeing AI, it does quite a few things itself. And I'm still pretty surprised that it's a free app though.
Yeah, me too. I mean, as much as they put into it and they add new things every so often, like that world feature, that's really cool.
I was surprised that you can save pictures on that on that now and
Yeah,
save images.
yeah, that's really cool.
If I had to ask myself like what my favorite Apple product is, iPhone would definitely be number one. But the second
Mhm.
one, that's a tough one. I mean, it might be the Mac. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, now I'm realizing why you picked two because I'm kind of turning the question to myself. I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of a tough one to answer.
Yeah, it is really hard.
So we're both voiceover users. Christy, you're more of a voiceover user than I am. I use voiceover maybe 90% of the time though. If I stare at screens for too long, I tend to get migraines, so that's the big reason why I tend to use voiceover. But for you though, how difficult or simple was it for you to learn on like an iPhone or an iPad compared to the Mac, let's say?
iPhone was definitely the easiest out of anything to learn. I actually picked it up the first time I ever had an iPhone and I caught on very fast. I had had an older Android previous to that, so I was used to double tapping on items and that kind of thing and scrolling. And so I kind of figured it out fast. I was like, oh, well, it's a lot similar. I don't know if it's a two or three finger scroll on Android, but I know with VoiceOver it's three finger. But it was like I just remember like holding it in my hand, and once it was turned on, I was like, oh, well, I got this. Like, I don't know. I just kind of caught on to certain gestures right off the bat. Now, there were a few things that I never got the hang of myself because I think I was just afraid of like trying to do it on my own, and if something happened, was like software updates. I would always have like a family member help me do them. But I know in the last couple years or so, I've been super brave about doing that and exploring a lot more of the settings and getting more familiar with a lot more in the phone than just like opening an app and using it with gestures.
Yeah, the iPhone, it's like when you get the hang of it. I mean, everything has a learning curve, but when you do get the hang of it, it just becomes second nature, though. So that's the
Yes.
nice thing about it.
And the nice thing too is there's hints turned on that help you to just get used to the phone, like double tap. So it's helpful in that respect to getting used to it too.
Now that we're talking about voiceover in general, though, since I did say it does have a bit of a learning curve, do you have any advice for anyone who is trying to learn voiceover but they're just struggling with it?
Well, number one, definitely don't give up. It's not going to happen overnight to where you learn everything. I mean, we learn things every single day. So just always just interact with your phone as much as you can. Practice makes perfect. I would maybe Google, voiceover commands. I know if you go to Apple's website, there's accessibility links to help you learn iPhone and Mac and iPad. And also, there's podcasts you can go to, tech podcasts specifically for accessibility. I know the blind community has several podcast options in Apple Podcasts, and they can help you walk through some of that. Also, Apple support has a number that you can call also for questions if you have any, and somebody can assist you. I believe it's 24 hours.
Yeah, I believe it is too, actually. And if you do happen to need to call Apple support a lot, just add them to your contact list, just to make
Yes.
it a little faster, because I've done that,
Yep.
and yeah, that works. Oh, and
Hmm.
I
And
want to
YouTube also.
I guess I wanted to piggyback a little bit on something that you said about going to Apple's website. They do have an accessibility website, and it does go into detail on a lot of the features, on basically all the features. But something I would not do, though, is once you go to like a voiceover commands list for the iPhone and especially for the Mac, do not feel intimidated by all the commands that you see, because at first glance it's going to feel like, oh wow, that's a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
how I
stuff.
felt with the Mac commands on there.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff to learn, but realize that you're probably going to just use a percentage of that. So don't let the quantity intimidate you.
And a nice thing about podcasts is you can almost like chill out with the people in the podcast, and as you're learning different commands that they might be helping you learn, they'll have conversations so you can laugh or just kind of enjoy some simple conversations. So you're not feeling so pressured either. Like I want to really learn this. So it's kind of nice too. And then obviously YouTube probably has a lot of stuff out there.
So another question I have for you is, what is it that you like about assistive tech, and what are some things that you would like to see improved?
I really like how responsive VoiceOver is on any Apple products. When you're interacting with an iPad or iPhone or Mac or Apple Watch or any of it, even HomePod, it's nice and responsive. There's no lag. That's always nice. It's pretty simple once you start getting the hang of it. So it's nice that it's not like it's gonna always be super challenging. And I like that Seeing AI is out there, and apps like Seeing AI and apps that people make accessible. I think one thing I wish that could be improved is, and it could just be part of me needing to learn programs better, but like with a Mac and being able to try and like make a video or take a picture or just any recording type of things. I wish that there was more maybe accessibility behind it, or more. I wish that some of the structure of the program maybe was a little easier to figure out. So definitely that, because I can record videos on my phone just fine all the time, but I definitely find it challenging with Mac.
There are areas that need to be improved here and there. I mean, as much as we do like Apple products, we're not saying they're perfect by any means.
No.
Assistive technology is still technology, and with technology comes bugs. So yeah, there's areas that I wish VoiceOver could work a little bit better or be more accessible with. But over time, I hope they do keep getting improved, though. Let's go back to the beginning when I was asking you about your first video about showing Braille screen input. You said you got a lot of attention from that video. Now, a lot of that attention was from people who were developers and even engineers. I mean, were you expecting, were you prepared for that kind of attention from folks who are in that industry, or did it just completely take you by surprise?
I was very shocked and surprised. My boyfriend was helping me answer a lot of the questions because there was a lot of different comments and questions that people had, and I just tried to answer as much as I could with the knowledge I do have. And yeah, I was very shocked though, and I feel like it's another like purpose or something, like I'm a part of something so much bigger than me just by the little bit that I'm able to contribute, I guess.
Right, because I mean, I even mentioned this in the conversation with you that there's even some blind people who don't even know about Braille screen input, and even for them, seeing something like that would be pretty surprising, actually. So I'm glad that you got that attention from folks, because now I'm hoping that more people who are developers are conscious of, like, oh, well, maybe what if a blind person wants to use my app, or not even just a blind person, but what if someone else who uses accessibility features wants to use my app?
Yeah, because there could be people that use voiceover out there who might have total sight, but they might just need it for some other reason.
Yeah, because I mean, as soon as you make a product accessible and it works properly, you're going to get a lot of loyal fans who are going to stick with you. And if something goes wrong, they will let you know. I mean,
Yeah,
just look at how many times Seeing AI has been brought up in this conversation already. It's like,
yeah,
it works.
yeah. I got my new Braille display, and it'll automatically pair with an iPhone or an iPad. Like, or once you pair it once, it'll connect. Like if you turn it on and then you turn on your device, it'll connect. And it's nice when non-Apple products will work seamlessly with an Apple product too.
Oh yeah, I guess it feels kind of magical when a third-party product just cooperates well with hardware and software. It's like, oh
Hmm.
wow, okay. So,
Yeah.
uh, just yesterday, well, as of this recording, yesterday, Apple had an event actually when they announced a few new products, and I know they really didn't talk about accessibility there, but do you want to discuss a little bit about what was announced?
It seems like with the iPad Pro, the fact that it has LiDAR is good because LiDAR can help you determine how close up or farther away you are from things sometimes or people. So it's kind of cool that it's in the new iPhones, but it to be in an iPad, that's cool, I think. And the better quality microphones, it seems like, as iPads keep improving, can help with videos and probably have clearer sound. Or if you're just on a call, like a conference call with someone, or if you're FaceTiming or anything like that, I think they can keep improving on like the video quality and microphones and that kind of stuff. I think that's great. And then Face ID too. I like using it a lot, so it's nice that it's in the iPad.
Yeah, and it's interesting though, after the new iPad Pro was announced, it's almost like the lines between the Mac and an iPad are really blurring now, especially now that they have an M1 chip now. I was like, okay, they're
Yes.
not going to put an M1. It's like they'd put an M1 chip in the iPad, okay.
Yep. That's very cool.
What else did they announce? The new Apple TV. It's more like a spec update. I mean, they do have a new remote. Luckily, they are going to sell the remote by itself.
Oh, they are. That's good. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I think it's like $59 or something like that. But still,
Okay.
yeah, I'm really tempted to just get the remote myself. The iMacs. That took me by surprise. I was not expecting to hear a new batch of iMacs being announced. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how the performance is like compared to like a Mac Mini or even the MacBook Air.
I
Just
think, yeah, didn't they say that they put everything in one chip instead of it being a couple or a few or something? I don't really.
yeah, I forgot. I've been watching so many videos and just
Yeah, I know, it kind of
the
blends together.
yeah, the event itself. It's like, wait, who said what?
Yeah, I think it might just be better performance for like the processor and everything, maybe doing it that way.
I was really surprised that they incorporated Touch ID onto the Magic Keyboard, though. I mean, I get it though. The keyboards for the Macs already do it, and I even have it to where my Apple Watch unlocks my my Mac, so
Yeah, mine too.
it's nice,
Yep,
isn't it?
it is very nice.
And sometimes I'm like, why isn't it working? It's because later on I find out, oh, you turn Bluetooth off. It's like, oh yeah, that's why. And the AirTags actually, those were long rumored, and they finally were announced. For the blind community, that might be something that could be beneficial. I mean, we lose things all the time, or maybe me more than other people, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to see how well they work.
Yeah, I could hear it making noise, so I think it helps you just if you're getting closer or further away or something like that. I could hear it making. I watched the YouTube live stream, so there was no audio description, so I couldn't tell exactly, but it sounded like it might be kind of helpful, and then you can look for it on the map. So I guess it depends on how accessible that would be.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see the audio described stream?
I looked and I didn't see it, so I don't know. I looked right at 1 o'clock of my time.
Yeah, it wasn't working for me at first, and then I was watching on my Apple TV, and when I pushed the, not play, but when I selected it was still giving me the teaser screen from the day before, and I was like, why, the event started, so I had to go back, exit from Apple TV, go back in, and then it started playing. I was like, well, that's
Hmm.
weird.
Yeah, it showed events from previous times for me, but I didn't see the newest, and I was like, well, that's weird. So I just went on YouTube because I knew that they were gonna
Mm.
have it up there, and as soon as I loaded YouTube, it was right there. So I was like, I'll just watch it here and just have to deal with no audio description. Maybe I'll be able to see it later with it or something. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean the nice thing though is that they're pretty descriptive with the general
yes,
presentation, so we're not missing too much. It's just that when they do the transitions, that's when usually they mention what's going on screen. So yeah, anything else you want to mention from the event or anything that maybe you might want to see in the next few months? Because I mean WWDC is coming up in June, so
I know it's exciting.
I mean, usually that's all, iOS or OS announcements, but every now and then they drop hardware, so you never know.
It would be nice. I was sad that they didn't come out with a mini iPad, but yeah, they're obviously a good reason, maybe for another time, hopefully. But 'cause it would be kind of cool. And then I remember there was rumors for new AirPods, and they didn't mention those either. So
Maybe they're holding them off. I don't know. I mean, the AirPods, the Max ones took me by surprise. I mean, I was like, wait, where did these come from? It's like okay, these are cool, but a little, well, not a little pricey. They're a lot pricey.
pretty pricey, yeah.
Yeah, I'll stick with the AirPods that I have right now, and maybe the AirPods Pro. I don't know.
Oh, you don't have pros, you just have the.
Yeah, I just have the regular ones. I mean, are the pros any good?
They are. I usually use the regular, like I think it's the two, AirPod 2. I use those when I'm working out because I feel like I like being able to double tap to switch songs, and that just works easier than I think like turning your hand and like pressing on there's a like a button on the tip of the pros, and you just double tap to switch a song. But I would rather just just tap on the actual AirPod. I feel like the pros don't, they stay good in my ears, but I feel like if I do a whole bunch of like jumping around or like running or something, that they might fall out. So, because when I smile or something or make certain facial expressions, they start to come out.
Oh,
And
wow.
I've changed the tips on them, and I'm like, I can't. There's nothing I can. So I don't know. I prefer just the other ones. But the pros are cool because like the spatial audio feature. So if you're watching a show on a supported streaming service or something that it sounds really cool because it's like kind of a theater sort of sound. So I like them for that. And yeah, I mean, they do have the noise cancellation, so that's kind of nice once in a while if something is going on and I want to concentrate and zero in on what I'm doing, but I don't use that very often.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a AirPods Pro or AirPod Pros, I keep hearing back and forth AirPods Pro or AirPod Pros. It's like, I just call them AirPods
I,
Pro.
yeah, whatever way it works.
If I would have a pair of those, I would probably use it if I'm traveling, like for the plane or something like that. But other than
Hmm.
that, though, I don't really need like noise cancellation. Maybe if I'm going to like a sporting event and I want to hear like the radio feed simultaneously for what's going on. But besides that, I don't really
Hmm.
see much usage for my needs. When I work out, I usually wear these AirPods anyway. Unless I'm lying down flat on my back, then they're not gonna fall off. When they first came out, I was like, these are gonna fall off so easily. And then I tried them
I
on.
know that's how,
I
yep.
tried them on, and I was like, wait a second, these. It's like how? It's like these really stay on your ears.
I know they designed them really good. And I feel like I constantly check them though because I always feel like you can barely tell they're there. So I'm always like, oh, did it fall?
Yeah, yeah. My last question that I have for you is it's kind of reminiscent of something that I asked earlier. What do you hope to see in the future for assistive technology? Not just for Apple products, but what do you hope to see in the future?
Well, I think one thing, and it is kind of an Apple related thing. I wish that there was another word you could say that how you have to say hey
Mm-hmm.
us. I wish that there was another word you could say because like what if you had a work iPhone and a personal one? And what if you're like trying to do your work or you're somewhere and you're like, "Hey S," and all everything triggers like both phones and stuff and you're like, "Call this person or something." And then your other phone's going to say, we don't have that number or calling or like, "No," and that it gets confusing. So I wish that sometimes you could like set a different phrase to trigger Siri. So you could maybe set a different piece of tech that you have to that.
Right,
But
right.
I don't know if they may never do that, but I wish that that was something.
No, that's a good one because I mean I really hope that that's somehow incorporated because yeah, I keep thinking I know we've been really trying really hard not to say what I call the phrase
Hmm.
because we know how that activates anyone and everyone's Apple device if they have the phrase activated. But I mean it's definitely something that can definitely be added and actually I would like something like that.
And this one is a little bit, I don't know. It's also an Apple thing, and it's something I actually suggested, but it may not ever happen. And I kind of reached out to them at one point and just suggested it, but I know that I'm just this person, like they go through like what things they think are necessary and not, and like how when you're writing a message or something in your phone and you have the keyboard clicks on and you can hear the keyboard click and you can hear if you have voiceover on or something.
Hmm.
Well, I wish that just like you can do that, like pressing the buttons and you can hear your keyboard clicks and voiceover is talking. I wish that they can incorporate that into Braille screen input so that when you're inputting the dots, not only will it say them, but the keyboard clicks can be added because they're not there. And I like listening to the clicks. It doesn't distract me. So I wish that there was a way that they could, and even for those that might not appreciate them and not want them, like if there was a way to turn it on and off. So if you're using Braille screen input, that you could like turn off keyboard clicks or turn them on, or have them on if you want them. Obviously, it's not like a very super necessary thing. There's way more important things than that, but I just wish that was something.
That's a small subtle detail, but I think it does go a long way. It's like with haptic feedback with voiceover. It's like I mean, I don't really have it turned on, but we were talking about this a little while back, and you actually have yours turned on because it helps you. But
Hmm.
it's a minor detail, but it helps you out quite a lot, and I can understand why people have it on.
Yeah, it's nice to have the option.
Yeah, I mean, I have my own list of like what I want, but it'd be nice if the digital crown navigation on the Apple Watch were a little, were a little better because sometimes you get to the bottom and you just keep scrolling and it just stays there. And instead I have to use with, the scroll with two fingers to keep going down on the screen.
Is it set to just go through one at a time, or can you scroll through a whole bunch at one time? Is it called digital crown navigation?
Yeah, and I have that turned on actually. So like when I'm checking, like let's say I'm checking email, and I'm trying to scroll through my inbox, and sometimes it just scrolls through like the top three messages, and then like if I keep scrolling, it'll just stay at that third one. So in order to go further down,
Oh,
I have to like
okay.
swipe up with two fingers on on the
Oh, that's
screen.
annoying. I guess I don't use my watch for email enough to notice that.
Oh, okay. And I guess one thing about the voiceover on the Mac. I know with Preview you can read PDFs and things like that, but I really do hope there's a way that for folks like us we can annotate. Like if we have to sign a document, especially a PDF, if there was a
Mm-hmm.
way to sign a document just using voiceover in Preview if possible, that would be awesome. I don't know how that would be done, but it'd be great if that were done. So if anyone wants to reach out to you, to contact you, to watch your channel, where can they find you?
Well, on Twitter, I'm at Christy_Veers, and my YouTube channel is just Christy Veers. I have a little description about it being a tech channel and that it's like from a person with blindness perspective. And also my email, it's christylviers@gmail.com. So it's KRISTYLVIERS@gmail.com.
So I'm gonna post those links in the description below if anyone wants to contact Christy. All right, Christy, thanks so much for being on here. It was awesome. It was a great conversation. It's always fun just talking about, accessible Apple products, but it's awesome that you're just as passionate, even more than I am about this. So, thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
All right, you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.